Well, it's the end of day one. Wow, I can't think how much space, how many subjects, how many speakers we've heard. So let me just say a few thanks. I'd like to thank the range of speakers we've had. Their contributions have been absolutely extraordinary. They've challenged us, they've made us think slightly differently, they've allowed us to exchange views from within our sport and outside of the sport. And the bandwidth of subjects, well, you shouldn't be too surprised because those subjects are absolutely the subjects that you wanted to discuss. They weren't chosen in abstract or in an ad hoc way. They're absolutely what you have been talking to me over the last 2 or 3 years about. You wanted an opportunity to do it, and this was really the first opportunity that we've had to bring the family together and have good, open, honest discussions. And I hope that this isn't the last one. We will obviously go away and listen to your feedback. And again, thank you so much for so many gracious and helpful and constructive remarks about today. I hope you feel that it has been what it set out to do, and I hope that you feel that the range of subjects and the way that the subjects have been dealt with has really met with your approval. But because of those kind, generous remarks, I would also then like to thank Olivier and his teams who have worked tirelessly to produce this, and I'm now communicating your thanks to them straight away, so I don't have to do it later. But Olivier and the guys, I think you hear what's being said, and I hope you've heard it throughout the day. We had 6 priority areas. It seems barely credible that we started off the day with our 6 area presidents talking about their 6 key priority areas, everything from what one-day meets look like through to area representation, gender, sponsorship, social media. We've had everything here today. And since then, we've listened to other sports talking about formats. I thought the session on rugby was fascinating, not just about the formats, but the way they've used social media to build a fan base, both online and in the real world. Look, I think we should all just take a moment to reflect that we talked about an athlete's integrity unit today. You put that in place. Your reforms, the reforms that you approved and helped shape over the previous 2 years, were really the genesis of what we needed to have in place in order to have the athlete integrity unit. You heard its role, you heard its responsibility, but take pride. It's the first of its kind, and you set it up. This is yours. And the way that this was explained this morning, I think, gives us comfort that we can have extra tiers of safety, checks and balances that ultimately allow athletes at every level of our sport to make the right decisions, and to make the right decisions that are not just going to have an impact on their careers, but poor decisions that will follow them through their lives. So the education component of the integrity unit, which I was so pleased to hear is taking such a high priority within that work sphere, is really encouraging. We heard sessions on social media. It was described by one of the panelists as the frontier. We're all trying to get our heads around it. We're all trying to figure out, how to use the powerful and not the destructive elements of it. As I talked about this morning, the speed with which we can share good and bad is now mind-blowing. It's the difference between, in one breath, promoting a sponsor product, in the same breath, blowing a sponsorship deal. We understand that. And I was fascinated also by the open mic session that Olivier and I shared this lunchtime in one of the rooms upstairs. The bandwidth of discussion, the bandwidth of subject, and the feedback that we were getting, because it's actually very helpful. Then it's not just a Q&A session. It is actually being able to absorb many of the observations that are being made from the floor, and that too we take very seriously. And look, the last session, and I've been to pretty much all of them, the last session for me was central, because the only reason we're all really here is for the athletes. We are here to create a sport that has athletes at the center, and that's an easy thing to say. What do I really mean by that? That we view athletes not as the first consideration and the last thought, but that athletes are enshrined in this journey that we're all on. And thank you guys for your patience and your time and the hours and hours that you spend unseen doing all the things that help move this sport on. And Rossley particularly, thank you for that. I'm delighted you're with us, and I hope you're with us for a long time to come. So that really is it from me. Tomorrow is another day, slightly different format, but I hope that you've appreciated what we've tried to do today. It's not perfection, but I do think that it's a fairly seismic step along the way to just engaging and allowing us all to interact. We should never come together as 200 and something federations without the opportunity to really challenge ourselves and to interrogate those big issues that we know sit at the center of our sport. And if we can resolve them, it just means that our sport will be so much better, so much stronger, and have you guys helping shape this on that journey. Thank you so much for your time, your patience, and your physical contribution to covering so much space and so much time today. Thank you so much.